Sorry, just introduce myself again. Sandro Grison from Color Magazine. I'm a publisher and creative director of just about 11 years now. I threw my first event the very same day that our first issue of the magazine released, and have been throwing events for every single magazine that we've produced since. I want to give a bit of more of a publisher's perspective on events, just because I know from this experience of publishing and editing a magazine just how much work goes into it. And a lot of the time you might not want to get distracted by producing events and may want to take advantage of the opportunities to sponsor other people's events, which is fantastic. But for me, and I think for a lot of publishers, getting into the magazine business was really to provide something that wasn't already being offered in our society and culture. So a lot of times we just kind of sort of see a need for some kind of event that isn't being produced, and so we will just take the time and make it happen ourselves just from the ground up. And it does take a lot of time and a lot of work goes into it, and it can be distracting. So almost every single one of our events, we find some way to produce some content in the magazine from the event itself. And we've actually done complete issues of the magazine, special edition magazines that are supporting events. In 2006, we did the Said and Done art show, which was a collaborative group art exhibition, and about 80% of our content in that magazine was pages of artwork from that show, which was really well received. And we ended up spinning an entire issue about collaboration, and it gave us a lot of good ideas to draw from, and all of our writers really appreciated that. So now I'm going to just talk about just a few things. I want to go over some facts, some of the benefits of producing your events versus sponsoring. I'm going to talk about owning your event, and just touch on the revenue model, revenue stream of events, and a few helpful hints. Let's see here. So just a random fact here, just as many people bring up the parties that we've had as the articles and issues we've put out. So I think that's really important to realize. And more often somebody speaks about a specific event or a specific party that they attended than an article in the magazine itself. So I think that just goes to show the value of events, and I think as publishers sometimes we get stuck in thinking that magazines are the end-all and of all kind of experiential marketing, and depending on what your I guess your business model is. For our magazine, it was primarily it was really about our advertisers, and so promoting and creating these events really supports the skateboard culture, who then is supporting our advertisers. And so it always comes back to the magazine in the end, and I think that was important. We didn't have our set goal to sign people up for subscriptions or sell more copies. We really wanted to get our magazines in the hands of those people because that would be good for our advertisers, and then therefore it comes back to us in the end. So I'm going to just talk about now just a few types of events, not to be confused with format. So I'm not talking about art shows versus nightclub parties and things like that, but I'm talking about interactive events, unique experiences, campaigns, charity events, and content. So if we could go to, let's go at slide 73. So that's me sitting there. This is in 2004 at BC Place. We got the opportunity through sponsoring the event Slam City Jam, National Skateboard Championships. We had basically a booth, a 10 by 10 gridded space there, and what we decided to do with the space is really make an interactive experience for the people that were attending the skateboard competition and also kind of roaming the marketplace there. So this was like a photo booth, and this is a collaboration with one of our advertisers as well. So we had readers came in and they got their photo taken in the booth. And it was just kind of a fun, interactive thing. Really stood out in the kind of trade show atmosphere that we had going on there. We got a lot of photos and just interacted with a lot of readers that way. So it was really good for us. Slide 174, if we can go there. This is the following year, and I'm just going to start talking about it while Stephanie brings it up here. And we can pan through these. There's 3 photos after this one. This is a grip tape art show. So this year, with our booth space that they provided us with, we got viewers to kind of come in and paint on grip tape. This is the grip that goes on the top of skateboards. You can keep panning through, it's fine. And that was really great too, because we also ran a contest in the magazine after that to win a custom piece of artwork by a very famous skateboarder, Steve Caballero. And so we had a lot of letters in to enter that contest, and got a lot of subscriptions from that as well. We did a few other things that you will probably see images of here. You might be able to recognize just different unique experiences coming from rural BC. One of my first parties we did in Vancouver for the magazine was a bush party theme. So we had a stack of pallets and in the middle of the nightclub, and there was smoke machines to make it look like it was on fire. And that's just an example of a unique experience that viewers and readers and people that come out to the events are going to remember forever. And this is before Twitter and all that stuff, but I'm sure we could think of a great hashtag that we could start for that one. Let's go to slide 83 if we could. It's a movie poster for A Test of Metal, a movie that we produced. And this kind of goes back to, this is a campaign, I guess. Basically, the story behind this one is a friend of mine said, hey, wouldn't it be great if we broke the record for visiting the most skateboard parks in one day? And Vancouver has more than 50 of these skateboard parks within 10-minute drive radius, so, or half an hour anyway. So we approached some of our advertisers, and it didn't really seem like there was a right fit. We didn't have the right skaters, and we ended up partnering with a brand that wasn't advertising in the magazine. And we've done this a number of times. So events can be a great tool to access revenue and gain revenue in areas that maybe you can't tap into just simply by doing web and online and print content. We also were able to do this. Let's go to slide 172. It's another example of an event. This one was held in Calgary during a trade show. So it was a really fitting time for us to go to Calgary and reach out to our readers there. And this one is also with a brand that wasn't advertising in the magazine, but we were able to collaborate in other ways. You'll find that a lot of brands and companies have different budgets placed in different places for whatever reason. And I don't think the conversation needs to end there. If you are in ad sales, I encourage you to get creative and find ways that you can work together. So this worked out really well for us, and this is a good example of content dictating an event. So the image that you're looking at in the center there is actually from a fashion editorial where we had an illustrator, Ben Tour, illustrate over and kind of on top of the photographs with the models, showcasing some clothing from some of our supporters and other fashion brands. So the name of the article in the magazine was Secrets Travel. We decided to use that title for the event. And the big secret was Chad Van Galen, a really popular award-winning musician from Calgary, performing there. So that was a really special event for us. Another thing I just want to kind of touch on, we can keep going through the slides here. It's just about events. I think one of the most important things about producing events for us is celebrating our work and the work of all the contributors. And magazines can be a very thankless job sometimes, and I think it's important to stop and celebrate your work and bring some recognition to a thankless job. I have found that this has really paid off for us in a lot of ways. Contributors really appreciate contributing to a magazine that is visible. So not only when you're producing these events, you're creating unique experiences for readers, but I think that you're increasing your brand's value to contributors, and you can get better content for your magazine. Your magazine can grow in a lot of other ways just because people, I think, appreciate that, that effort that you put in. At events, I want to talk about a strategy here for producing content at events. Everyone's kind of familiar with the event photos and beautiful people looking their best, and we're familiar with, you know, event pages and magazines. But video has become an increasingly important medium, I think, for all magazines and their websites, and just for communicating some ideas. We've always found that we like to figure out before we go into an event if we're going to make the best video or the first video. Equal value in both. You can get a lot more impressions being the first out the gates. But sometimes, because there's so many people with cameras, it might be better to just hold back your content, spend a week editing it, and release a really high-quality video. And if you want to queue up the video for the hotel takeover party, you'll get an idea of what I mean. And also, try to notice the points, the branding points, with Color Magazine being a skateboard publication with a focus on art and culture. And let me know if you think we've hit those points. So you might have noticed there too, that party was just a springboard for another bigger party that we threw about a month later. Yeah, there's some subtle product placement in there, but you do have high costs with these types of events, and I think the experience for everybody was far more paramount than any kind of sponsorship that they noticed there. It was all done in very good taste. Well, let's look at a couple more slides here. I touched a little bit about campaigns. A test of metal, that the video we made of breaking the world record for the most skateboard parks visited in a single day. That also became an article in our magazine. We also did video premieres for that. So we hit kind of all points for our readership there in interacting with them. Another type of campaign is just a party campaign in general. If you go to slide 91, you'll see my very first party I ever did. This was the third year actually, but it was part of the same campaign. The first year was called Burning Bridges, as a new publication coming in a competitive industry. And I mean skateboard industry, not publishing. Burning Bridges was a fitting name. The following year we did Burning Pallets, where we did the installation with the pallets and the bush party theme, and everyone sat on tailgates. It was a good time. This is the third one, Burning Out, which as a publisher, by the third year, you are definitely feeling like you're burning out a little bit. Another campaign we did, slide 136, is called A Rolling Perspective. And we had actually, this is a title from an article that we did 2 years previous, where we featured the photography from some very talented skateboarders with a keen eye for photography, and appropriated the name again for an event of a traveling art crawl that traveled 5 cities across Canada. And in each city, this was a show of 200 self-portraits of skateboarders taking photos of their feet as they're rolling down the street. So we reached out to our contributors, our readers, and got an overwhelming response with these photos, and it was amazing. In each city, we had an art show in 3 different spots in one night. So we worked with a skateboard shop, proper commercial gallery, and more of a boutique kind of clothing store. So we reached a huge public doing this strategy, and a really cool part about it was just the interaction and kind of the, just I guess the format of it. We had free beer at each spot in the night at certain times. So this was enough motivation to get people out skateboarding or rolling on their bicycles. 6 till 7 at this place, 7:30 till 8:30 at the next place. So it kept people moving all night, and it was a really cool thing to watch happen 5 times over in all the major cities in Canada. And that kind of just brings me to another helpful hint. Offer free drinks. Nothing gets people's attention more than free food or beverages. Depending on your industry, this is going to be appreciated or expected. And you can get this sponsored. This doesn't have to be a cost on your part. You are a powerful beast if you are a magazine. I think the value of print is only increasing. I would just say choose wisely. You know, if you're going to have an event at an existing party or venue, you want to make sure that it's on brand for your magazine and that it represents what you're about, and it's somewhere that your readers may already want to go to. That makes it really easy. We've put our logo on other parties and found that they're just as effective as producing our own events. Maybe not as fun for us or some of the people there, but just as effective. And people don't really know the difference between an event that you took the risk on and spent a lot of money on, or one that you just put your logo on the bottom of. So that's something to consider. Just look at what's happening around you. If it's already happening, reach out and collaborate. And if not, maybe you can be an event producer. I know that I never considered myself to be one, but found great success with it.